Tuning in from Seattle, please welcome to the screen Jenise Silva.
Hello. Let me fix my view here real quick. Sorry about that. Hi, I'm Jenise Silva, and I grew up in rural Swan, Indiana. There's not many entertainment options out there, maybe just riding your bike, picking some blackberries, or building a fort if you're lucky. So when I was 6, I started telling tales to my imaginary gym class on my front porch, filled with bikes and a rusty wagon. So in between telling them to run a lap, climb a rope, or do a jumping jack, I'd just tell tales. I don't remember what they were about, and I don't even know if they were true. Later in life, when I was in the 3rd grade, the Fort Wayne Philharmonic rolled through town, our rural little town. I'd never heard classical music ever in my life, and I'd certainly never heard it live. They came through with a quintet, and the quintet featured a bassoon. I'd never seen a bassoon, and I thought it was the most beautiful instrument I had ever seen. And I was fascinated that within this quintet, the bassoon took the lead. It was the main character. It told the story of Peter and the Wolf. My Aunt Geneva and my mother Marge were great storytellers too. They both worked as waitresses, and they tell their customers stories. They weren't particularly big or interesting or probably even true, but it was just how they connected to people. And I would watch them and marvel at how they connected to people by just telling stories. Later, I was an actor, I danced, I played in the band. But I just always really admired storytellers and stand-ups because they stood out there with no material from anyone else and just told their story. I thought it was an extreme act of bravery. So just before COVID hit, I was at a creative morning sessions. It always featured a keynote and then what they called an espresso shot. A speaker who just took 3 minutes to talk about something they were passionate about in the world or that they were working on. So that particular morning, they said there wasn't an espresso shot. So before I knew it, I shot up my hand and I said, I would tell a story. And they said yes, instantly. So I stood up and took 3 minutes to talk about my love of local businesses, my publisher in Singapore and how they supported local businesses, and talk to people about how they could support local businesses, either through the purchase of a book or by just finding local gems and making sure to support them. Later on, that next week, I had been attending something called Naked Brunch. It was an improv forum for comics to stand up and take 4 minutes to tell their stories. So I had been, again, attending for a while, but just to watch the comics. But this particular week, I signed up to go up. So while I was waiting for it to start, I was making my way down the stairs to the bathroom, as one would before doing any sort of public speaking. And I heard, Jenise, you're up. I yelled from the bottom of the stairway, no, I signed up 5th. And they explained that despite the fact that I'd signed up on the 5th line, that every other speaker or comic had signed up after me. So I would be going on immediately. So as I entered the small stage, a little shook, as you can imagine, the MC was going on and on and on about how he liked to fuck moms. And it just didn't stop. So as I took the stage, he looked me up and he looked me down and he said, "Are you a mom?" I said no, ignored him, and went on about my business. But when I finished and I was leaving the small stage and the mic, the young female MC looked me up, looked me down, and said, "Are you sure you're not a mom?" It made me feel really unwelcome and like they didn't want new people to the mic. So in my mind, I thought, I'm never doing this again. I'm never going up again. And then I thought, no, I have to go up again, and soon, or I'll never go up again. So the next week, in the same place, the Rendezvous, it had another little jewel box room that hosted something called the Magic Hat. It was helmed by a comedian, and he'd choose 6 people to go up. You could sing, tell a story, juggle, whatever you wanted. So that particular day, I had been volunteering at a preschool, and I had some children's books with me. So I decided I would go up, read a story, let the crowd decide what story I read and how it went. So they could either yell forward, backward, stop. So we went through the Velveteen Rabbit, making our very own tale. Then COVID hit. And I wasn't talking to many people. The first time I talked to a close friend, I told him that I'd only talked to about 5 people in the last 14 months. He asked if he should really be concerned. Probably he should have, but I said, no worries. I'd been furloughed, so I'd lost my ability to tell the stories of even other people. Then late spring hit and more opportunities started opening up. I had an opportunity to tell other people's stories through other online outlets and publications. And then Brune reached out about this particular storytelling time and asked if I'd like to be a part of it. And I said, yes, absolutely. I'd love to be a part of it. And I am so grateful to Bodies of Stories for building such an open and inclusive and welcoming environment for people to tell their stories, share their truths and their memories, real or imagined. So thank you so much.